Princess Lyra stood tall on the balcony of the Grand Palace, looking out over the city of Silara. The sky was a deep purple, dotted with shining stars. Below, thousands of aliens gathered in the square, waiting for her speech. Today was a big day. It was the day she would speak to the people about the new alliance with humans. Humans were a strange species. They came from a distant planet called Earth. Many aliens in the galaxy did not trust humans. They thought humans were reckless and wild. But the leaders of Silara believed that working with humans was the best chance for peace and growth. Lyra did not agree. She was proud and strong, raised to lead her people with honor. She believed that aliens were better and smarter than humans. When the human ambassador, Captain Cole, arrived, she made her feelings clear. Humans are not like us, she told her advisors. I would never bond with one. I will never share my life or my power with a human. Today, Lyra would say this to everyone. The crowd fell silent as she began to speak. Her voice was clear and strong. People of Silara, she said, we face a choice. The humans want to join us, to work together. But I will say this, I would never bond with a human. Their ways are different. Their minds are not like ours. I will not give them that power. Whispers spread through the crowd. Some cheered, proud of her words. Others looked worried. The human ambassador stood nearby, his face calm but his eyes sharp. He listened carefully. Lyra turned away from the balcony and walked inside the palace. Her heart was heavy. She knew her words might cause trouble, but she could not lie. She could not pretend to accept something she did not believe in. Later, in the quiet halls of the palace, her father, King Talar, spoke to her gently. Lyra, the bond is not just about power, he said. It is about trust, about working together to protect our people. The humans are not enemies. But father, Lyra replied, how can I trust those who are so different? How can I bond with someone whose world I do not understand? The king smiled sadly. Sometimes the strongest bonds come from the hardest challenges. Meanwhile, Captain Cole stood outside the palace, watching the city lights. He knew Lyra's speech was a warning. She did not want him or his people here, but he also knew that humans had a way of surprising others. They did not give up easily. They fought for what they believed in. The night grew darker, and the city of Silara went to sleep. But trouble was already stirring in the shadows. Somewhere, hidden enemies planned to use the princess's words against her. The story of Princess Lyra and the human captain was only beginning. And soon, her life would depend on the very person she had declared she would never trust. The next day, the palace was busy with guards and visitors. Princess Lyra tried to focus on her duties, but a quiet feeling of danger hung in the air. She could not forget the angry faces she had seen after her speech. Some aliens did not like her strong words. Others whispered about change, but not in a good way. Captain Cole stayed near the palace, watching carefully. He knew that peace was fragile. His human instincts told him something bad was coming. He wanted to warn Lyra, but she avoided him. She still did not trust him. Late in the evening, when the palace lights were low and most people were resting, a sudden alarm rang out. The loud sound echoed through the halls, waking the guards and servants. "Princess Lyra has been taken," shouted a guard, his voice full of panic. In a flash, the palace went into chaos. The princess's personal guards rushed to her chambers, but she was gone. Only a small note was left behind, marked with a strange symbol no one recognized. Captain Cole was there in seconds. He looked at the note and then at the worried faces around him. "This is a planned attack," he said. "Someone wants to hurt the princess and stop the alliance." King Talar called for a meeting with his top advisors. "We must find her quickly," he said. "If she is hurt, war may follow. We cannot let that happen." Lyra, meanwhile, was awake but scared. She had been taken to a dark place, far from the city lights. Her captors wore masks and spoke in harsh voices. They did not tell her why they took her, only that she would stay there until their demands were met. At first, Lyra was angry. She was a princess, a leader. How could they treat her like a prisoner? But after hours passed, fear began to grow. She did not know who would come for her. Would her people save her, or was she alone? Captain Cole led a small team into the unknown, searching the wild lands beyond the city. He trusted his skills and his human instincts to track the kidnappers. As they moved through strange forests and rocky hills, he felt a strange connection to the princess. Despite her harsh words, he believed in her strength, and in the future they could build together. Back in the palace, the tension grew. Rumors spread that enemies inside the court helped the kidnappers. Not everyone wanted peace with humans. Some wanted to keep fighting, to stay separate. Lyra's thoughts turned to Captain Cole. She had no choice but to hope he would find her. Maybe, just maybe, the human she once refused to trust was her only chance to survive. Night fell again, colder this time. The princess sat quietly, waiting. Outside, a rescue mission raced against time. Every second counted. The story of the proud alien princess and the determined human had taken a sudden turn. Now, their fate was tied together, and the real test was only beginning. Captain Cole's team moved swiftly through the dark forest. The trees were tall and strange, with glowing leaves that barely lit their path. Every step was careful. They knew the kidnappers were close and dangerous. Cole's mind was focused. He had tracked many difficult missions before, but this one was different. The princess was not just any target. She was the future of peace between humans and aliens. He could not fail. Far away, in a small hidden cave, Princess Lyra sat on the cold floor. She was tired and angry. She hated feeling weak. She had always been strong, proud, and independent. Now she was completely dependent on her captors, and maybe soon on a human. Suddenly, the cave entrance opened. A guard pushed her outside. "You will live, but only if you agree to something," the guard said. "What?" Lyra asked, her voice sharp. "You must bond with the human. Without this bond, you will die from the poison inside your body." Lyra's heart stopped. She looked at the guard, disbelief and fear mixing in her eyes. Bonding is a process. It links two beings together. Your minds, your strengths, even your fears. It can heal you and keep you alive, but only if you agree. Lyra shook her head. "I would never bond with a human." The guard's face was hard. "Then you will die." Back in the forest, Cole's team found the cave. They moved in quietly, weapons ready. When they saw Lyra, weak but alive, Cole stepped forward. "Princess," he said softly, "we are here to take you home." Lyra looked at him with surprise. She wanted to refuse help. She wanted to push him away. But her body was weak. She could barely stand. "I don't want your help," she said quietly. "You don't have a choice," Cole said gently. "If you don't bond with me, you might not live." Lyra's eyes widened. She remembered the guard's words. "No," she whispered. "I won't." Cole stepped closer. "The bond is not about control. It is about survival. We will share strength. You will feel better. You will be stronger." Lyra hesitated. She hated the idea, but her body screamed for relief. She nodded slowly. The bond process began. A soft light surrounded them. Their minds connected, and a strange warmth filled Lyra's body. She felt her pain ease and energy return. At the same time, their thoughts mixed. She saw Cole's courage, his hope, and his deep belief in peace. Cole saw her pride, her strength, and the heavy burden she carried. When the light faded, Lyra looked at Cole with new eyes. "This is different," she said softly. Cole smiled. "Together, we are stronger." Outside the cave, the team prepared to return. But the dangers were not over. Their enemies knew about the bond, and they would try to stop them. For the first time, Lyra felt she could trust a human. But trust was only the beginning. The bond between Princess Lyra and Captain Cole was new and strange. As they traveled back to the palace, Lyra felt something she had never felt before: curiosity about humans and about Cole himself. They moved through the wild moons of Silara, places full of dangers and mysteries. The alien forests were thick with unknown creatures and strange plants. The humans in Cole's team were cautious but skilled, using machines and instincts to keep everyone safe. Lyra watched Cole closely. She remembered her old thoughts. Humans were reckless and simple. But now she saw something different. Cole was careful, brave, and calm even in danger. He did not run away. He faced problems head-on. One evening, as they rested near a glowing river, Cole shared a story. "On Earth," he said, "we face many challenges too. But humans survive because we never give up. We find new ways, new ideas, even when everything seems lost." Lyra listened, surprised by his honesty. "Your world must be very different from mine." "It is," Cole replied. "But maybe our differences can help us both." The bond made Lyra feel strange things. She could sense Cole's emotions sometimes: his hope, his frustration, and his kindness. It was confusing but also comforting. At the same time, she felt more connected to her own people. She thought about the distrust many aliens had toward humans. Was it right to fear them? Could the humans really be allies? One night, while Cole was on watch, Lyra explored the strange bond more. She focused her mind and tried to understand the feelings that flowed between them. She realized this connection was more than survival. It was a new way to understand each other. Suddenly, her thoughts were interrupted by a sharp noise. A group of shadowy figures appeared, attacking the camp. The kidnappers were following them, determined to stop the princess from returning. Cole and his team fought fiercely. Lyra used what she had learned from Cole and her own training to defend herself. Together, they pushed the attackers back. After the fight, Lyra looked at Cole. "I never thought I would fight beside a human," she said quietly. Cole smiled. "And I never thought I'd protect a princess who called me an enemy." They shared a brief laugh. For the first time, they were not just a princess and a human captain. They were partners. As they continued their journey, Lyra's mind was full of questions. Could the bond between them grow stronger? Could humans and aliens truly work together to build a better future? The answers were unknown, but one thing was clear. The old fears and hatred were beginning to change, and that change might be the key to saving them all. The bond between Princess Lyra and Captain Cole grew stronger each day, but there was one important step left: the full bond initiation. It was a ceremony that would connect them deeply: mind, body, and spirit. This bond was rare and powerful. It would allow them to share thoughts, feelings, and strength fully. Without it, Lyra's poison would slowly kill her. In a quiet room inside the palace, doctors and scientists prepared the equipment. The air was thick with hope and nervous energy. Lyra sat silently, her heart pounding. She was scared but knew this was her only chance. Cole stood beside her, calm and steady. "I will be with you," he said softly. "You are not alone." Lyra looked at him and nodded. Even though she still felt unsure about trusting a human, she could not deny that he had saved her life once already. Maybe together they could face what was coming. The process began. A glowing device was placed between them, sending gentle pulses of light and energy. Slowly their minds opened to each other. Lyra could feel Cole's thoughts, his memories, fears, and hopes. It was like stepping into a new world. At the same time, Cole felt Lyra's strength and pain. He understood the heavy burden she carried as a princess and a leader. Her world was different, but her courage was clear. As the bond deepened, something unexpected happened. Lyra began to feel her poison weaken. Her body grew stronger. She smiled faintly, feeling hope for the first time in weeks. But the bond was not just about healing. It created a connection that changed them both. Lyra could feel the warmth of Cole's kindness and determination. Cole felt Lyra's pride and fierce will to protect her people. Together, they were stronger. Suddenly, a warning alarm sounded. Outside, palace guards shouted about a new threat. Enemies who opposed the peace had launched an attack on the city. Without hesitation, Lyra and Cole stood up. The bond gave them power and courage. They knew they had to protect the people of Silara together. As they rushed to the palace gates, Lyra felt something new. Trust, not just in Cole, but in the future they could build. It was no longer just about survival. It was about hope. The bond was a symbol of that hope, a promise that two very different worlds could work together. The battle ahead would be hard, but with the bond between them, Lyra and Cole were ready to face whatever came next. The palace was on high alert. Guards rushed through the halls, checking every door and corridor. The attack on the city was more than just an attack. It was a message. Someone inside the palace had betrayed them. Princess Lyra stood beside Captain Cole in the strategy room. The room was filled with maps and glowing screens, showing the movements of enemy forces. Lyra's face was serious, her eyes sharp. She was no longer just a proud princess. She was a leader ready to fight for her people. "We must find the traitor," Lyra said. "Someone close to us is helping the enemies." Cole nodded. "The bond between us can help. I can sense things you cannot. Our minds are connected." Lyra looked at him, surprised but hopeful. Together, they began to question the palace staff and officials. Some answers led to dead ends. Others raised new questions. Late into the night, a palace guard approached them quietly. "Princess, there is a secret meeting in the lower chambers," he whispered. "I overheard enemies talking about the next attack." Lyra and Cole exchanged a look. Without wasting time, they followed the guard down dim, narrow hallways. The lower chambers were cold and dark, with echoes of whispered voices. Hiding behind a large column, they saw several palace officials speaking in low voices. Their faces were hard and angry. "The humans are a threat to our power," one man said. "We must stop the alliance before it's too late." Lyra's heart sank. These were people she had trusted, people who wanted war, not peace. Cole whispered, "We need proof." They listened carefully, recording the conversation with hidden devices. The officials spoke of plans to capture the princess again and blamed the humans. It was a dangerous plot that could destroy the fragile peace. When the meeting ended, Lyra and Cole slipped away quietly. They now had the proof they needed, but the danger had grown. The traitors were powerful and willing to do anything to win. Back in the safety of the strategy room, Lyra looked at Cole. "We must act quickly. If the people find out about this betrayal, there could be chaos." Cole agreed. "We will use the bond to stay connected and watch each other's backs." The princess felt a new strength from the bond. It was more than a connection, it was a lifeline. She had learned to trust this human, her partner and ally. Together, they planned to expose the traitors and stop the next attack. But they knew the enemy was close, watching, waiting for the right moment. The palace was no longer just a home, it was a battlefield. And Lyra and Cole were ready to fight for peace. Days passed since Princess Lyra and Captain Cole uncovered the traitors within the palace walls. The atmosphere in Silara was tense. Rumors of rebellion spread quickly, but Lyra and Cole kept their focus sharp. The bond between them was growing. And with it, their trust. In the early morning light, Lyra and Cole stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the city. The sun's soft rays painted the sky orange and pink. For the first time since the kidnapping, Lyra felt a calm hope inside her. "Captain," Lyra began quietly, "I never thought I would say this, but I trust you." Cole smiled, a rare softness in his eyes. "And I trust you, Princess, more than I ever expected." Their bond allowed them to share more than thoughts. They shared fears, dreams, and memories. Lyra saw glimpses of Cole's life on Earth, the struggles, the courage, and the love he carried for his people. Cole understood Lyra's heavy responsibilities, the loneliness of leadership, and her deep desire to protect her people. One afternoon, during a training session, Lyra and Cole sparred lightly. Their movements were careful but strong. The bond made them feel connected, almost as if they moved as one. "You're better than I expected," Cole said, smiling. Lyra laughed. "I'm still learning. But with you, I feel stronger." Their shared victories in battles against palace enemies proved their growing teamwork. Each challenge brought them closer. They learned to read each other's moves and thoughts, anticipating dangers before they arrived. One night, as they planned their next steps, Lyra shared a secret with Cole. "My people fear humans because we do not understand them," she said. "But maybe fear is a choice. Maybe we can choose to see each other as allies." Cole nodded. "Humans do the same. We fear what is different, but trust grows when we face challenges together." Their words held truth. The bond was more than survival. It was a bridge between two worlds. However, not everyone in Xilara accepted this new hope. Some powerful figures still worked in the shadows to tear the alliance apart. Lyra and Cole knew the battle for peace was far from over. As they stood together, looking out at the city lights, Lyra felt something change inside her. She was no longer just a princess who refused to bond with a human. She was a leader ready to fight for a future where humans and aliens stood side by side. And Captain Cole was no longer just a human ambassador. He was her partner, her ally, and the key to a new era. The bond between them was growing stronger every day. And with trust, anything was possible. The night was dark and quiet over the palace of Xilara, but inside, tension was high. Princess Lyra and Captain Cole prepared for what could be the final battle. The traitors within the palace had made their move. They wanted to stop the alliance and take power for themselves. Lyra's heart was steady, but her mind raced. The bond with Cole had given her strength, but the danger was real. They had to stop the conspirators before the city fell into chaos. "Are you ready?" Cole asked, checking his weapon. Lyra nodded. "We have to be." Together, they led a group of loyal guards through secret tunnels beneath the palace. The air was cool and heavy with dust. Every step brought them closer to the traitors' hideout. Suddenly, the hallway ahead lit up with bright lasers. Enemy guards appeared, blocking their path. The battle began. Cole fired his weapon, carefully aiming but moving fast. Lyra used her training, dodging and striking with precision. The bond between them helped. She could sense Cole's moves and thoughts, reacting faster than ever before. The fight was fierce. The traitors wanted the princess alive but under their control. They believed without her, the alliance would fall apart. Lyra and Cole pushed forward, fighting side by side. Their teamwork was perfect. Cole's human bravery and Lyra's alien skill combined to defeat the enemies. Finally, they reached the leader of the traitors, a powerful noble who had long opposed peace with humans. "You will never succeed," Lyra said, standing tall. "The people want peace, and we will protect it." The noble sneered. "You think a human can save you. You are weak." Lyra smiled, feeling the bond's strength. "Together, we are stronger than you know." With a final move, they disarmed the noble and captured him. The battle was over. Back in the palace hall, the people cheered as Lyra and Cole appeared together. Their victory was more than a fight won. It was proof that humans and aliens could work as one. The princess looked at the crowd, and then at Cole. "This bond saved me and our future. Together, we will build a new era." Cole smiled proudly. "I am honored to stand by your side." The people of Xilara began to see the power of unity. Fear and hate slowly faded. Hope grew. But Lyra knew the work was not finished. The bond was strong, but it was just the beginning. There would be more challenges ahead. Still, with Cole by her side, she was ready for whatever came next. The story of the alien princess and the human captain was far from over. It was a new chapter. a chapter of trust, courage, and a future built together. The palace was quiet after the battle, but inside Princess Lyra's heart, a storm was growing. The victory had shown her many things about trust, strength, and the future. But now she faced a choice that could change everything. Lyra sat in her private chamber, the soft light of Silara's twin moons shining through the window. Captain Cole stood nearby, waiting patiently. The bond between them still pulsed gently, a reminder of the connection they shared. "You saved my life," Lyra said softly. "But now I must decide. Will I fully accept this bond? Will I let it change who I am?" Cole looked at her with understanding. The bond is more than just power or survival. It is about trust, respect, and partnership. You don't have to lose yourself. You gain strength. Lyra closed her eyes and thought about the long days they had spent together, fighting, learning, and growing. She remembered how she once declared she would never bond with a human. Now, that seemed like a distant memory. Her people expected her to be strong and proud, but they also expected her to lead wisely. To keep the peace, she needed to make a choice that was not easy. After a long silence, Lyra spoke. "I will bond fully with you, Captain Cole. Not because I must, but because I believe in what we can build together." Cole smiled warmly. "Then let us begin." The bond initiation ceremony was held in the Great Hall. It was a moment of hope for all of Silara. The people gathered, watching with quiet excitement. As the glowing light surrounded Lyra and Cole, their minds connected deeply. Memories, feelings, and thoughts flowed freely between them. The bond sealed their partnership, making them stronger than ever. When the light faded, Lyra opened her eyes. She felt powerful, but also calm. She had accepted a new future, one where humans and aliens could stand side by side. The crowd cheered, and Lyra raised her hand. "Today, we begin a new era of peace and unity. Together, we are stronger." Cole joined her, proud and ready. "This bond is a promise to protect and grow for all our people." But not everyone was happy. Some watched from the shadows, angry and fearful. The road ahead would still be difficult. Lyra knew the challenges were not over, but with the bond and the support of her new ally, she was ready to face them. She had made her choice, and the future was brighter because of it. The sun rose over Xilara, shining bright on a city ready for change. Princess Lyra stood on the balcony of the palace, holding Captain Cole's hand. Together, they looked out at the people below. Aliens and humans gathered side by side. The bond between them was no longer a secret. It had become a symbol of hope and unity, showing that different worlds could come together. Lyra took a deep breath. "Today, we begin a new era," she said to the crowd. "An era where fear is replaced by trust, where differences are strength, not weakness." The crowd cheered, their voices rising like a wave of hope. Humans and aliens alike smiled and waved, feeling the promise of peace. Cole stepped forward. "I am honored to stand with Princess Lyra. Together, we will protect this peace and build a future where all can thrive." The bond between them glowed softly, a reminder that they were stronger together. But peace was not easy. The princess and the captain knew that challenges would come. Old fears and new dangers would test their alliance. Still, they were ready. They had faced enemies inside and outside the palace. They had learned to trust and to fight as one. In the days that followed, Lyra and Cole worked hard to bring their people closer. They held meetings, shared stories, and helped solve problems between humans and aliens. Slowly, walls of fear and doubt began to fall. Young aliens and humans played together in the streets. Traders from both worlds shared goods and ideas. The princess often thought back to the day. She declared she would never bond with a human. It seemed like a lifetime ago. Now, that bond was her greatest strength. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, Lyra and Cole sat together in the palace garden. The bond still connected them, warm and strong. "Do you think the galaxy will ever fully accept us?" Lyra asked quietly. Cole smiled. Change takes time. But we have started something important. Together, anything is possible. Lyra nodded, feeling hope bloom inside her. The alien princess and the human captain had faced fear, danger, and doubt. But they chose trust and unity. Their story was a new beginning. A story of strength born from differences and courage born from partnership. And as the stars shone above Silara, the future looked brighter than ever.